Hello, and a very warm and enthusiastic welcome to a brand new and truly exciting edition of Simply Electric. We're kicking things off with a truly fantastic start as we head into the year 2025, featuring the all-new, freshly unveiled Skoda Enyaq. And whether it's truly a revolution, whether it really advances things, or if it's basically just a facelift with a few marginal changes, that's what we want to explore in this video today. Attempt to discover together by thoroughly exploring the new Skoda Enyaq both in its sedan and coupe versions from the exterior to the interior, while carefully considering every detail of the technical specifications and prices together. Before we do that, could you please check if you're already a member of the electric entrant community? If not, we'd be thrilled if you'd support us with your subscription, and then you'd always get the latest electric car videos essentially for free, delivered straight to your living room. Please don't hesitate to like the video and leave your thoughts in the comments, as I'm aware that Skoda pays attention to what you write here and consequently receives valuable feedback in that manner. What you enjoy, what you don't like, and any improvements they might consider for the future. Let's not waste any more time now. We're jumping straight into the presentation of the brand new Skoda Enyaq Coupe and sedan car models. As is our usual routine, we begin from the exterior, specifically starting at the front, and take a detailed look at the overall front section of the new Skoda Enyaq. And there you can already notice the first clear parallels to his little brother and sister Elrock, which I have already presented to you at the Auto Zurich. Do feel free to take another look at those two videos. Already presented it for the first time, it is actually supposed to be detailed and thoroughly featured here on the channel for you very soon. Presented indeed, the Enyaq has impressively been sold over 250,000 times, establishing it as one of the most successful all-electric vehicles under the umbrella of the VW Group, where it finds its home. Given this background, it is only logical and makes complete sense to consider undertaking a model refresh. This is exemplified through an initiative like a facelift, in my view, which they've skillfully executed at the front of the vehicle by distinctly and effectively separating the silhouette of the daytime running lights from the main headlights. They removed the Skoda symbol, opting instead to incorporate only the lettering directly into the hood. Present now is a pixel-style design with strokes, which adds a touch of modern elegance to the overall aesthetic look and feel. I'm really curious to hear how it appeals to you. Do you find it more stylish than before? Perhaps this design helps the Enyaq to stand out even more distinctly from its combustion engine counterparts and positioned a notch lower. Standard LED headlights will then be available as a default feature, with the option to upgrade to matrix LED headlights for those interested. In addition, a lot of attention was paid to the aerodynamics of the Enyaq. As a result, they managed to reduce the sedan's drag coefficient to 0.245. That's really impressive for an SUV. You can also see the noticeable air curtains here, which are meant to direct the air around the front wheels. And below, it's showcased once more in a modern scene. Then you have the air vents, which play a crucial role in managing the vehicle's thermal dynamics. Yes, if we then take a closer glance from the side, we essentially observe a fairly identical line design overall. Then you just transition from the A to the B to the C pillars. After that, you have these really lovely and aesthetically pleasing wheel arches here, and they even considered introducing a fresh and perhaps innovative silver metallic paint finish in this lower section. To consider various color schemes in detail, you can get it the way you prefer, either with aluminum anodized or in classic black, respectively. In a stylish black glossy finish, I must say, it really makes the entire car look fresher and more modern, while also making it unmistakably clear that it is purely an electric vehicle. Yes, when we look at the side, we actually see the classic sideline. We're looking at a length of 4.65 meters and a width of 1.88 meters. And a height of 1.62 meters. The wheelbase stretches to 2.76 meters, and the base weight measures in at a respectable 2 tons. What we have as a starting point in any case is the Enyaq 60, then with 63 kilowatt-hours gross, 59 kilowatt-hours net available. It starts there and is, so to speak, available to order from today or tomorrow, then from 44,000 euros. Has gained quite a significant number of additional assistance systems, so basically they've packed even more features and content into the brand new Skoda Enyaq. Then you will get 150 kilowatts and 204 horsepower from the electric motor on the rear axle which is driving it. It's basically rear-wheel drive. It accelerates to 108.1 seconds and reaches 160 kilometers per hour. For those who want more range, up to 560 kilometers according to WLTP, which are probably the preliminary values, the Enyaq 85 offers 82 kilowatt hours gross and 77 kilowatt hours net usable. I honestly would have preferred to have had the other battery pack, the more advanced one from the VW Group, which I believe has 79 kilowatt hours net and a total of 84 kilowatt hours gross. We already wondered with the Cupra Tavascan why the new cars aren't always the latest. Acquiring the technology, or rather the most up-to-date battery pack, that's maybe a question that we will potentially have answered by Skoda at some point in the future. Then the rear-wheel drive increases to 210 kilowatts, 286 horsepower, which also means it accelerates from 0 to 100 in 6,7 seconds and reaches 180 kilometers per hour at top speed. In the Enyaq 85X, the total power output of 210 kilowatts, which is equivalent to 286 horsepower, is divided between two electric motors. One motor is situated on the rear axle, while the other is on the front axle, ensuring efficient all-wheel drive. This feature is significantly important, especially for those among you who often travel to or reside in mountainous areas or regions. Yes, we shall discuss its charging process shortly with the Enyaq Coupe. Now let's take a closer look at the rear side section. Once more, there haven't been many noticeable changes to the silhouette. I believe the rear bumper section has been given somewhat of a new design touch. It really looks quite stylish and elegant. We proudly showcase these striking LED tail lights. This classic SUV sedan shape effectively enhances its look, while also providing a spacious 585-liter trunk, ensuring you have plenty of room for all your luggage. When you fold down the seats, the available storage volume impressively increases to a total of 1,710 liters. I'm somewhat let down. I really wished Skoda had shown a bit more bravery. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments if you think they could have made an effort to modernize the rear section somewhat too. That's certainly pleasing, of course. Many of you will most likely continue to really like it the way it is. And some people might start thinking about whether it really makes sense to switch from their current Skoda Enyaq to the new model, so to speak. Those who bought it and for those who leased it, the lease agreement will eventually reach its expiration point, and at that juncture, you'll very likely make a decision in favor of opting for the newer model variant. Yeah, the highlight for many of you was definitely the Skoda Enyaq Coupe, and right here we're taking another closer look at the entire front section. I believe it's the Sportline variant, where each and every detail is beautifully painted in a stunning shade of snow white. I really like it, especially the color white I think suits the Enyaq. Is also really appealing, although this particular shade of green is specifically just for the Enyaqs only. This would then give you a certain sense of exclusivity, so to speak. Yes, when we take a look at the sideline, we can also observe this classic and timeless form present here. We've got somewhat sportier rims here, and everything is either beautifully anodized with a stylish chrome or elegantly highlighted with an eye-catching glossy black finish. You always decide that yourselves. What you don't have with the coupe is the panoramic glass sunroof that can open. You have the option to get that with the sedan model. From what I have gathered, the Enyaq Coupe always comes equipped with the glass roof, which unfortunately cannot be opened at any time. That's probably very crucial for quite a few of you as well. Yes, when we take a closer look at the page, we can observe, in my opinion, an exceptionally striking and truly beautiful scoop silhouette. This implies we essentially have the highest point positioned just before the B-pillar, so like where the head of the driver is positioned, and starting from the B-pillar, there's a beautifully sloping line that extends gracefully. We also don't have any humps on the back that might house hinges. Skoda has integrated all of this very well. The only thing that obviously can't be missing is a big, fat, ugly shark fin antenna. I would have wished that Skoda, as part of the VW Group, would take an eloquent approach and integrate this thing directly into the bodywork and integrated it into the side mirrors. I assured you that we'd talk about the charging performance, and we've already discussed some aspects of batteries. And there are the old batteries, and there too I would have wished for what other manufacturers are doing. Then you will see them with the Kia EV6 facelift on our channel, for example. To achieve a higher energy density, which naturally, when combined with improved efficiency and better aerodynamics, can also help ensure a significantly longer range for the vehicle. By the way, the Scoopy has a drag coefficient of 0.225. That's an absolutely top value. Just for comparison, the best vehicle in series production is still, I believe, the Mercedes EQS with 0.20. You're definitely already quite close for such an SU. Like a coupe. Yes, unfortunately, we weren't able to manage achieving a higher energy density within the same spatial parameters and maybe also an increased charging speed. You all have three-phase charging with a consistent 11 kilowatts. From what I gathered from the technical data sheets here, then it diverges into what can only be called a first-rate muddle, and that's just so typical of the VW group. I wonder, why do they do that? So the smaller battery pack is able to charge from 10 up to 80% in a span of just 24 minutes, reaching a peak power of up to 165 kWh. In this case, we're discussing 59 kilowatt hours of net capacity. Additionally, the large battery pack varies distinctly in the rear-wheel drive model. It's capped at 135 kWh, going from 10 to 80 in around 28 minutes, and then the version with all-wheel drive is said to have a different. Battery manufacturers now have a slightly altered battery chemistry, allowing for a maximum of 175 kilowatts, also achievable in a span of about 28 minutes. It puzzles me why development hasn't progressed further in the recent years, seeing as we all know that with a 400-volt system, reaching 200 kilowatts or more should be quite feasible. We're also aware that particularly Asian manufacturers such as Kia, Hyundai, and now even BYD are able to charge their cars from 10 to 80% in a time frame ranging between 17 and 24 minutes. And now, of course, one might say, well, VW is once again lagging behind by merely around 4 or 5 minutes. Yes, you can see it that way, but you can also look at it differently. And as a European, I would have wished that we would take the lead and just show that you can charge VW Group derivatives in 20 minutes in the future. Feel free to share your opinions in the comments. Whether you agree with me, or if you say you'll just grab a coffee and tea and enjoy the optional Canton sound system, the drum brakes in the back due to the supposedly better recuperation capability as stated in the datasheet, such nonsense as if a drum brake would be better for recuperation. You really need to explain that to me in technical terms at some point. I'm really just kind of a little bit keen on the overall performance of the charging process. When you take a closer look at the sideline, you'll easily notice the elegant coupe-style slope. There's no large rear spoiler, no lip at the back. Instead, there's a kind of subtle edge or ridge where those fries wouldn't slip off if you decided to balance them carefully on the trunk lid. So the desired fries counter isn't really present here in the Enyaq either. And yes, the taillight design is indeed very, very conservative. The rear bumper is essentially presented here in a glossy black finish. I find this combination to be very, very cool indeed. I probably would have chosen to make the frames of the panes in a glossy black finish as well, just to round off the whole look and feel a bit more. And then there will surely be an RS variant available in the future, which could be a bit sportier and more dynamic than the base variants here. It's likely reserved for sportier influences, emphasizing improved performance and design elements. Yeah, when we then take a look at the rear section, I'm really curious to hear how you say it. Would you have preferred a touch more modernity there, or do you think, no, that was always a perfect rear and it should definitely stay like that? In any case, you have 570 liters of storage space under the large tailgate, and when you fold down the seats, it increases to 1,610 liters. Yes, last but not least, you have a roof load capacity of 75 kilograms for both variants. That's what I've taken note of. Plus an optional tow hitch that can pull up to 1 ton of brake trailer load on rear-wheel drive variants at a 12% incline. In the all-wheel drive version, it is capable of towing up to 1,2 tons of brake trailer weight. Once again, I have to express my dissatisfaction. Sorry, Skoda. Sorry, VW Group. Why is there no significant progress in this area? And again, we return to the example of the Kia EV6 facelift, which will soon appear with us in 3 videos. They succeeded in increasing it from 1.6 tons to 1.8 tons, and I realize for some of you that detail is really crucial. And then we have a 75 kilogram support load, so we can possibly fit 2 pedelecs on there if the rear bike rack is light. But just not the 3rd or 4th, where we end up with a tongue weight of 100 or 125 kilograms. What could potentially prove to be genuinely crucial and quite significant information for some of you listening. And that's just where I personally feel, yeah, it's a nice facelift, a sleek and stylish new car, but when you really think about it, is it genuinely worth it for you guys? Where's the fresh innovation we seek? What's the key milestone here? Do share your detailed thoughts in the comments below. And outside, we're also going inside and taking a look through the passenger window at the dashboard. And if we're being honest here, I can't really identify anything significant except maybe a different combination of materials, probably a new software architecture as well, and the fact that the Skoda symbol is noticeably no longer on the steering wheel, but just the lettering. Once again, no significant change. There are two ways to look at it. On one hand, you can say, man, what's good and proven? We don't need to change that. Instead, we can simply keep it as it was initially designed and then just implement it with the new software. A couple of new features, hopefully including battery preconditioning on top. And then the customer decides on 6 different equipment variants, which I don't want to name. All individually now. Feel free to check the configurator to see which interior he chooses. Certainly the proportion of recyclable materials has once again seen an increase. Of course, we still obviously continue to have a lot of hard plastic elements that you need to evaluate whether you like them or not. What I must definitely praise is that within the VW group, I believe Skoda consistently maintains the best combination of materials. You can distinctly see it right here with the grey fabric, the stitching together with the leather, and the addition of faux leather elements. But even here in our Skoda Enyaq, we naturally find various hard plastic parts, and that's starting at 44,000 euros. You'll have to decide if you're okay with that. Or maybe not. We have a classic driver display with 5 inches. Additionally, you can optionally get the corresponding head-up display. You then have the multifunction steering wheel, where there's still a distinct and separate second lever that is located just below the turn signal lever, specifically intended for operating the optional assistance systems. This travel pilot in the Skoda is sensationally good. It's one of the best systems you can get in the semi-autonomous sector, in my opinion. And with then also the predictive speed adjustment, which keeps the vehicle precisely in the center of the lane, providing that constant sense of reassurance when you're being semi-autonomously assisted that this system is proactive. Skoda has expanded it again, made it more sensitive, added even better cameras, ultrasonic sensors, etc. PP installed to provide you with an even more enhanced semi-autonomous driving experience. We will of course be putting this to the test in a classic review along with a comprehensive driving report. And the car is meant to be notably more efficient, not only due to aerodynamics, but also because of the engines and battery tech. We'll certainly be verifying that as well during our detailed consumption drive, along with a charging check to determine if it truly holds up in real-world conditions. When we take a closer look at this, you'll notice a new menu structure, which has been slightly revamped and reorganized. Well, whether this is really such a huge milestone compared to its predecessor, I don't know. Probably if I were to have a Skoda Enyaq, I'd definitely have to seriously think about whether or not to trade a perfectly good, well-functioning car for this new facelifted version. What are your thoughts on it? Please don't hesitate to write your opinions in the comments as well. A feature that has always been superb, naturally, are the seats. The passenger seat is equipped with an ISOFIX child mount. I'm sure many of you will be happy to hear that the Skoda Enyaq conveniently comes with a total of 3 child ISOFIX mounts. And here again you can see, in my opinion, very nicely that we have well-shaped seats with decent lumbar support and good shoulder padding, a soft headrest, a proper leg support. That has always been great, and even the center armrest is ergonomically well-shaped. So you're still sitting really quite fantastically in the Enyaq, I genuinely believe, and that's not only true in the first row of seats, but definitely in the rear seats as well. And it truly offers by far almost the most legroom comfort in this vehicle class, which means a lot of space from the front seat, so that 4 fully grown tall individuals at 1.85 meters can sit comfortably 6 feet 3 inches. And then also be able to sit comfortably in the limousine on a longer journey. You can choose either the standard steel suspension or opt for the advanced DCC adaptive suspension system. That's a decision for you to make depending on how much you're willing to spend. Personally, I'm always a big fan of adaptive suspensions, as they often achieve the best range between being comfortable and sporty. Otherwise, of course, everything in the Enyaq is genuinely simply clever, just as the manufacturer suggests to you. This means you have these little additional parts everywhere, so you can secure a suitcase, for instance. I find it clever that you have a few hooks to hang things, that you have the umbrellas in the doors, like in a Rolls-Royce or in the tailgate. Then perhaps also consider including the ice scraper for the winter months if you're not preconditioning the car to clear off the windshield. Doesn't quite make sense in an electric vehicle, but let's just leave it at that. And otherwise, you can quite clearly notice here that the trunk space is still absolutely excellently lined with a neat carpet. Only perhaps the edge and the tailgate are maybe covered with hard plastic, which might be a bit scratch sensitive. You just have to be a bit careful. Also awesome is that besides the 60-40 split, there's a pass-through. Then for a long item from the hardware store or the skis in winter, the rear-wheel drive variants have a turning circle of 9.3 meters. The AWD version has a 10.8-meter circle, so I think the Enyaq may be a really interesting vehicle for you in the future as well, and that brings us to the conclusion of the new 2025 Skoda Enyaq as a sedan and as a copy. And I have to say, I'm a bit disappointed when I saw the front section when I watched the teaser video where you could already make out some things. I was really hyped and thought, man, now there's going to be a real new breakthrough. VW aims to push into electromobility as a company, and it's also then, if Skoda, so to speak, presents a car with over 250,000 units, also significantly maybe changing something. Perhaps they thought never change a winning system or just opt for some minor cosmetic adjustments. Everyone needs to make their own personal decision about how they individually perceive its value. I would have hoped they had been a bit more daring and creative in the overall design of the rear section. I wish they had perhaps thought to add 1 or 2 additional features to the interior. Has incorporated new highlights that go beyond just being software-based, offering visually striking features as well to engage the customer base more thoroughly with a refreshed vehicle concept and perhaps encourage them to become more invested rather than just aiming to double the sales units. But hopefully, they might even be able to triple it on a global scale. I really do wish for this remarkable achievement for Skoda and the entire Volkswagen Group. Yes, I would like to sincerely express my gratitude for you watching. I hope you really enjoyed the video and that you'll give it a big thumbs up. Please check again if you're part of the einfach elektrisch community. If not, a subscription on YouTube is free. Feel free to support us with your subscription. Then we'll see each other again for the latest electric car videos. And usually not even here in the studio, but actually on the vehicle, just like the manufacturers allow us to do. Thanks once more for watching. Feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts on the new Skoda Enyaq and whether I might too strong or perhaps too weak. I'm eagerly looking forward to your perspectives. I know Skoda pays close attention and will surely incorporate your insightful comments on design, practicality, and upcoming vehicle models. Please continue to support us. See you all very soon and many heartfelt thanks, Ollie.